Live from Game On Fitchburg, FATV presents coverage of Fitchburg High School Red Raider athletics. And this afternoon, we bring you field hockey as the Red Raiders of Fitchburg High School take on the Wildcats of Gardner High School. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. I'm Daniel Bolak, happy to have you along with us here today from high up in the hills of West Fitchburg at the brand new Game On Fitchburg facility. As we're set to bring you field hockey for the first time in who knows how long on FATV. The Red Raiders coming into this game with a record of 0-2. They went 4-11-1 last year. This is their second game here at their new home up here in the hills of West Fitchburg, as they open their season with a 7-1 defeat to the perennial powers of Oakmont before falling on Friday 4-0 to the Panthers of Quabbin. And so a bit of a rough start for the Red Raiders, but Quabbin, a very strong team in Central Division 1. They had 14 wins last year. Oakmont were Central Mass finalists in Division 2 last year with a 12-5-3 record. Two very strong teams to open the season. As for Gardner, they are coming into this matchup with a record of 1-1. They had one win, as we know, last year. So they've already matched that total. Last year they got that lone win in their senior day against Murdoch. This year they picked up their first win against that same Blue Devil squad. They won that game on Thursday at home 3-1. Roselli Gonzalez, Hannah Goss, and Abby Gerard also all scoring for the Wildcats in that one and putting 20 shots on target. A strong game for the Wildcats to get their first win of the season. They'd also opened their season against Quabbin, and like the Red Raiders, they got shut out as well, that time by a 3-0 margin. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup. The Red Raiders, as we mentioned, looking for their first win this season. But obviously, Gardner, they've had their struggles over the last couple of campaigns. And this could very well be a game that Fitchburg could take advantage of that to get their first win. They haven't played Gardner in recent years. So these two teams not exactly familiar with each other, but with the pandemic being as it is, with the new pod system put into play here in 2020, we're getting some matchups that we don't normally see. Definitely changes things up a little bit. Devin Goyette will be in goal for Gardner, and one of the two captains for the Red Raiders, Lily Bray, will be in goal there. On the other side, the Red Raiders in the white uniforms, red numbering, red shorts. They will be going from right to left in this first half of play, while Gardner is in the road black uniforms with black shorts, and they will be going from left to right. Now, we are underway here from Game On Fitchburg. We will be using the blue lines on the field today. Those will be the ones for field hockey, the red lines for men's lacrosse, and the white lines, of course, for soccer. They battle for it here on the near side as the ball pops out to the middle of the field, trying to flick it along, but taken away by Gardner. As they try to push their way up on the far side of the field, whistle blows. And the infraction goes against the Wildcats, as that was Roselli Gonzalez stepping up and challenging there. As we mentioned, Gonzalez, she had a goal just a few days ago on Thursday against Murdoch. Another infraction blown there. This one will go the way of the Wildcats. Gardner will set up Hannah Goss, having it right there. Tries to flick it across into the Fitchburg end, but pushed back out by the Red Raiders. Delayed call coming against Gardner. Haley Gerard with the infraction. Fitchburg will have the free hit. Mackenzie Kupfer with the flick on and the pass upfield. Making her way for the Red Raiders is Olivia Tran. She'll pass it back, now back to Tran. Tries to push it into the circle, but Gardner more than happy to spit it out as the ball makes its way to the near side. Tran retaking possession. Now pushed along. This is Bambos into the circle, trying to set up, get ready for a shot, but has it taken off her stick. Gardner pushing it up play on. The whistle irrelevant, as Goss was making good progress downfield. Why get in the way of that? So Gardner moving it along now into the Fitchburg circle. Trying to set it across. Bray's going to step up and kick that one away. Wildcats couldn't set up for the shot. Bray able to step up, challenge, knock it out of danger, and now Fitchburg will try to carry it up. One of the obvious things here, one of the big changes if you're familiar with field hockey, normally played 11 on 11. This year played 7 on 7 as Riley Reed has it on the far side. Trying to settle, control the ball, but now spit away by Gardner. And now with the 7 on 7, so much open field, a lot of ground you have to cover. So that makes it challenging as well, trying to play a whole 60 minutes, but of course, unlimited substitutions help. And Fitchburg has a much deeper bench to work off of. 27 players on the roster we were given compared to just 16 for Gardner. Ball go out of bounds, and Fitchburg will have the free hit from the far side. As we're in the 4th minute of play here, 4 15-minute quarters. Time is being kept on the field. There are no scoreboards yet here at Game On Fitchburg. Just had a soft opening a couple months ago. They've got 3 fields already up and open. Playing on field number 5 here. Whistle will go against Fitchburg. Struck strongly, but now cut down. Eliza Gallo trying to push it along. Into the circle it goes. Trying to set up Goyette out to challenge. Ball loose to her right, and that'll go out of bounds. That was Riley Reed getting in the action there for Fitchburg, trying to put something towards goal. They'll bring it out to that blue line that marks the 25-yard line, 23-meter line in international field hockey. Onto the far side, and now settled by Mackenzie Kupfer. Flicked along by Fitchburg, but now sent back by Gardner. Back into the neutral zone. In the pass too far for Kupfer there, and out of bounds it goes. Gardner with the free hit. Challenge for it at the 25-yard line, and now numbers for the Red Raiders. Good step up there by the Gardner defender. There's a shot on, but stopped by Goyette. The shot off the stick of Riley Reed. It's the first shot of the game we've had here, about 5 minutes in. Saw some good defense there from Skylar Grenier, shutting down an opportunity for Fitchburg a moment ago. Grenier, one of 3 captains on this roster for Gardner. Pushed into the circle again. Goyette will boot it out and away. And Gardner ready to push up field. They get past the midline. And pushing further down. The infraction was against Fitchburg, and so Gardner will play on there. Had to stop for a moment. The official was gesturing, though. No, the foul's against the other team. You can keep going. But ultimately, their progress stalls out as Gallo with a long stretch pass, a 2-on-1 developing, but Grenier again stepping up and shutting that down. Caden Scopoletti trying to push on for Fitchburg as they get it into the circle now. Haley Gerard challenging. Scopoletti taking it away briefly but illegally. And back to Gardner it'll go. So no score here from Game On as we're about 7 minutes into this first quarter of play. 4 15-minute quarters this season in MIAA play. A regulation field hockey game, 60 minutes at the high school level. Whistle blows for an infraction. And now Gardner, not getting the cleanest of hits. Fitchburg trying to play it along on the far side, but Tran is whistled for the infraction. Hannah Goss taking a lot of time to step up and swing there. The clashing of sticks is going to be ruled against Fitchburg. Although I think even Goss probably thought maybe it had gone against her, but they will rule in her favor. And so a free hit for the Wildcats from midfield. Now past halfway in this first quarter, again, no score. Goss will settle it right on that midline where they ruled the foul had happened. And now a restart to play. The ball intercepted by Kuiper. And now on the near side, trying to stick handle is Annika Gendron. Gendron pushing it along. And now Bambos. That's Olamide Bambos, one of two captains on this Red Raider squad. The other one is Lily Bray. That struck too strongly and out of bounds it goes. Could not be corralled by Megan Clapham. Maggie Bourgeois will leave it, and now she'll get it back from Kuiper. On the near side and pushing is Gendron. Gendron trying to bring it to the circle, trying to flick it towards goal, did not get much on it. And having none of that again is Skylar Grenier. Pushed out to midfield, flushed out there. Corralled by the Red Raiders. Now hopping along past midfield. Scopoletti trying to settle it, but Goss in there again. Just a sophomore for the Wildcats. But as we mentioned, she had a goal against Murdoch just a few days ago. And she seems to be just about everywhere for the Wildcats here in this first quarter. Fitchburg taking control. Gardner changing a couple of personnel, but this leads to a 3-on-1. A great opportunity for the Red Raiders. And the ball gets lost in no man's land. A foul called against Gardner. This will give both teams a chance to regroup here. Foul coming just outside the circle. It's Mackenzie Kuiper. Pushed it along, Gardner pushing it away. You could hear just a slight tapping of sticks coming together, enough to call the infraction. Makes the whistle happen. Gendron on the near side. Tries to push one towards goal, just ends up being a self-pass. Sets up for something up in the circle. Delayed call against Gardner, a push towards goal, a couple of chances. As they all come together, eventually a whistle blows. And the advantage over as the infraction goes against the Red Raiders. A couple of block chances there for Fitchburg. Don't think Goyette was challenged on any of those. Just a lot of good defense from Gardner getting in the way of that. Into the 12th minute of action, still no score, but Fitchburg has been the more offensive team. They've been threatening more here in this contest. We'll play on as Eliza Gallo. Her first chance goes to nothing. Second opportunity will draw the whistle. Another free hit coming for the Red Raiders. Mackenzie Kuiper ready to restart play. One of the changes this year on these free hits, everyone's got to be about 5 yards away from each other, or something like that at least. Kuiper trying to set up for Marin Kuiper. at the top of the circle. A shot taken inside the circle, and that one just whistles just wide. Put it on a soft pace, looking for that right side post, trying to tuck it in, but it goes just wide by not very much, as Goyette could not react until it was too late. But fortunately for the Wildcats, they avoid danger and avoid conceding the opening goal. Estimated a little over 2 minutes to go here in this first quarter of play, as that's sent across, trying to set up Gendron in front. That one knocked away by Gardner, and now a whistle. Just couldn't play it legally inside the circle. Gardner will be able to bring it out for the free hit. But that struck far too dangerously, they'll rule. And so it's going to go right back to the Red Raiders in prime position to strike as soon as they can retrieve the ball. Because also when you're playing 7-on-7, it means a lot longer run you're going to need to make to retrieve the ball. They're able to bring it up to the circle, where they'll restart from Marin Kupfer. On the right side, Marin. Pass for McKenzie. Try to go back to Marin there. And across. Delayed infraction indicated. And another free hit awarded to the Red Raiders. From the right side corner, trying to center it across. Red Raiders trying to settle it. Couple of chances, more clashes of sticks. Ball eventually go out of bounds. Heard the Fitchburg bench yell about 30 seconds left. It's fairly close to that, and I've got it as 30 seconds left now. It is worth noting that penalty corners replaced by 25-yard free hits, and one of the old rules in field hockey is that if a penalty corner is to be paid, the quarter can't end.
Over here, I'm pointing outside the circle.
Contact outside the circle. They'll set the players up. Marin Kupfer to McKenzie again. Flicks in. And the horn sounds for 1/4 time. Perhaps Fitchburg could have done something with that in the final seconds, but of course, not knowing how much time's left, they've got to just play to what the clock is. And the horn sounds unkindly for them as we complete 1/4 of play here at Game On Fitchburg. No score between the Red Raiders and the Wildcats. From my count, it looked like 4 shots for the Red Raiders in the first quarter of play. I did not have Gardner getting a shot attempt. Lily Bray only challenged really once, and she went to kick that away before it was ever really turned in her direction. But Fitchburg definitely the better team, and one of the big advantages they have, as we mentioned, they have a much larger roster to draw from. 27 players listed on their roster compared to just 16 for Gardner. Now, one of the positives of the 7-on-7 play, meaning you have 4 fewer players you have to worry about on the field. So it does mean, at the very least, that fatigue will be a little less of a factor than it normally would be, as players aren't going to have to run up and down the field for 60 minutes. But then again, another downside is 7 players instead of 11 means a lot more ground to cover. So maybe that balances out the fatigue? I shrug my shoulders, but you all can't see that. But 1/4 complete here at Game On Fitchburg, as we have no score through 15 minutes of play. As they come together for the 2-minute break, players will have a chance to gather their breaths. In the past, field hockey was played in halves. 2 30-minute halves or 2 25-minute halves if you wanted to factor overtime into things. But in recent years in field hockey, internationally, they've been moving away from doing halves and more towards doing quarters. And we've sort of seen that begin to trickle down through the levels of play.
One more time for you here. Just gonna hold for my whistle, all right?
Gardner will start with possession of the ball.
Visitor.
So in a sense, saved by the horn. And now we start the second quarter of play as Emma Ashmore tried to get that across, but a swing and a miss. And Bambos ready to try to make them pay. As again, numbers for the Red Raiders trying to spring Bambos. A bit out of the reach of Olivia Tran. She's able to settle it, trying to get it across, but now the Wildcats have gotten there, and they block those passing opportunities. Bourgeois trying to push it along, but now an infraction against Fitchburg. Another good opportunity, but just couldn't settle it well enough. Flicked along on the left side. Bambos will leave it. Tran fouled from behind. And it's a 25-yard hit is what they'll rule. Something that would have been a penalty corner now turns to a 25-yard free hit. Jennifer Allen on the near side. The clashing of sticks is going to be ruled her fault. She's battling there with Emma Ashmore. Gardner scored just 5 goals all of last season in the games we had recorded as Bambos trying to set up again for another opportunity. Delayed call against Gardner. But the advantage over as Tran couldn't get that feed inside. Ruby Reed battling for it. Draws the infraction there. And as we were saying, Emma Ashmore had 1 of those 5 goals, the other 4 by seniors since graduated. Now fed into the circle again. And out of bounds it goes. Just couldn't be handled inside by Fitchburg. And so free hit coming for Gardner here. A bit misstruck, but the Wildcats will persevere on that. Pushing to midfield, winding and firing downfield, I believe was Gonzalez. Now for Ashmore. Sent across out of the reach of Abby Gerard. Fitchburg trying to stem the tide there. They will do just that. Fitchburg does have some numbers pushing forward. Infraction goes against Gardner. Another free hit coming for the Red Raiders. Alicia Santos with the restart for the Red Raiders. And the infraction as Reed unable to make the play. Struck a bit too hard there. And I think what happened there was Gonzalez trying to restart play, trying to feed Ashmore. Banmo wasn't ready for that one. So she'll be subbed off. Substitutions in field hockey, much like they are in ice hockey, you can do them on the fly. And they are unlimited. Fitchburg earns another infraction. And stepping up to play that along will be Mackenzie Kupfer. Kupfer with 2 goals and 5 assists last season. Clashing of sticks against Kupfer. Gardner earns the ball on the infraction. It will be flicked on by Haley Gerard, one of 3 captains for this Gardner side. Kane Scopoletti battling for the ball with Gerard. She'll win the ball on the whistle. And the Red Raiders will lose the ball on that whistle. Gerard struck it too dangerously, they'll rule. It's the second time we've seen that call against Gardner, at least. Got to try to keep the ball on the ground the best you can. Officials do not like it if it's rising above the knees. So now they bring the ball all the way back. And Jennifer Allen ready to restart play for the Red Raiders. Flicked back to the 25. Cuffer trying to feed Scopoletti on the left side. Bambos trying to send it across. Takes an unkind hop on the turf. And Gardner will have it. It's the first season the Red Raiders are playing on field turf. In seasons past, they were playing in the outfield of the baseball field. And as time has gone on, more teams have started to move from grass to turf. It's not an option for everyone. Narragansett, Murdoch, Quabbin, they all still play on grass as that one pushed wide to the right of the Gardner cage. Oakmont's had turf at Hurd Field for a long time. Gardner just got turf in at Watkins Field. This is their second season playing on it. Not a lot of turf fields in Fitchburg, really, until Game On opened a couple of months ago. All there was Elliott Field up at Fitchburg State. All the other schools in Fitchburg, of which there are several, play on grass. Gardner really with some possession time in the Fitchburg quadrant, but still pushing on. Gardner trying to set up for a chance. They haven't had a registered shot yet. That one flicked. It goes off the side of the net. Close chance for Gardner. It's the best chance they've had in this contest. The free hit is for the Wildcats there. They'd all backed off thinking with the ball going out that it would be Fitchburg's ball, but they've ruled Fitchburg with the infraction. So Gardner gets to keep the pressure on. Nearing the halfway point of this second quarter of play. And another foul. Score remains 0-0. Shots 5-1 in favor of the Red Raiders on official tally. Shots on goal just 1-0 right now. As Goss trying to move it on the right side, but just runs into a bunch of Red Raiders. They've had enough of that. They're no longer interested in having the ball in their own quarter of the field. They'd like to push it out. And they're trying to make their way as quickly as they can. But Gardner's legs able to push downfield, and Ashmore complete swing and a miss there. No infractions though, so we play on. Lily Scopoletti having it on the far side. And eventually the pressure leads to an infraction against the Red Raiders. Not a great strike there on the free. Fitchburg wanting to make them pay, but just having trouble settling it and making anything happen. As Goss moves it on the far side. Moving around Mackenzie Cuffer. Now settled down by Jennifer Allen. Allen trying to feed Mackenzie here. And she'll push it along for Caden Scopoletti. But the whistle blows against the Red Raiders. Back to Gardner it'll go. It feels like on some of these free hits, Gardner's just trying to do a whole lot with the ball, just trying to send it as far downfield as they can, but obviously you hit it too hard and you elevate it, you're going to get dinged for the dangerous hit. And sometimes they just get under it too much, don't get very much on it at all. But Gardner able to set up now. On the left side, Goss tries to fire, but swings and misses. She would like to challenge Lily Bray in goal for the Red Raiders. No registered saves yet from our count. Fitchburg trying to move it up again. But Haley Gerard, the midfielder, stepping up and shutting down the play, getting it back to midfield. Out of the reach of Gallo for the Red Raiders, back to the midfield. Nudged along again by the Red Raiders, taken by Gardner. Gabriela Gonzalez on the far side with the push on. Fitchburg trying to get it out. And Mackenzie Kupfer has it taken off her stick by Emma Ashmore. Alicia Santos battling for the Red Raiders. The foul drawn, though, by Gardner. There's Roselli Gonzalez drawing the whistle. Gonzalez with a goal against Murdoch. Advantage being ruled for Gardner. The advantage is over now as Fitchburg will settle it and just try to spit it out of the zone. They'll do just that, take it right off the stick, and a 2-on-1. Challenging there is Grenier. She gets outrun and now continuing to push on. Just a matter of setting the shot. Goyette gets in the way. Second chance whiffed on. Goyette with the stop to challenge, and then on the second chance, looked like Gallo just wasn't able to get her stick on the ball. Now that's floated in there as that's kicked away and out of danger. Don't know if that was touched inside the circle. Might not have counted if it had gone past Goyette there. One of those fundamental rules in field hockey. If the ball's not touched in the circle by the time that between when it's shot and when it goes in the net, if it's not touched in that circle, it's not a goal. But Goyette would take no chances there. You can hear the referees from over here mentioning that they aren't too happy with the timing on the substitutions for Fitchburg. Players perhaps coming on the field a bit too early. You've got to come all... As we said, substitutions are very similar to ice hockey in a sense, that they're free-flowing, can happen during open play and unlimited, but you still got to get to the bench before you can come on, or close enough to it at least. As it's pushed on here, just again, Ruby Reed unable to really get a good shot on. It's one of the challenges when you're under pressure in the circle. You want to get something good towards goal, but sometimes that pressure from behind by the defense just sort of forces you to get off whatever you can, and oftentimes it isn't really a whole lot. And now another chance here for Fitchburg as Goyette steps up, knocks that one away, and the whistle blows. Alameda Bambos there for the Red Raiders. Again, Fitchburg continuing to dictate the pace of play. We're under 2 minutes to go in this first half of play. That's flicked in there, and Goyette boots that away. Ball won't go out of bounds, actually stays in play on the far side. That one flicked a bit too far. And out of bounds that will go for a free hit for Gardner. The Fitchburg bench estimated 40 seconds remaining in this first half. I have 30 seconds more than that, personally. But we'll see in less than a minute who's right on that. But sometimes in that case, you're yelling out the time there trying to trick the other team as well. You'll see in some opposing facilities for basketball teams, when the opposing team has the ball, sometimes the crowd will count down a shot clock that's a few seconds ahead, force them to take a hurried shot. And I can tell you right now, the Fitchburg bench was right, as the whistle has blown for halftime there with 30 seconds left on my stopwatch. So how about that? They had it completely right there. And that brings an end to the first half of play here from Game On Fitchburg, where the score is Fitchburg 0 and Gardner 0. Shots in the first half, from my count, are 9-1 in favor of the Red Raiders. Shots on goal are 5-0 in favor of the Red Raiders. And Gardner, they had a bit of trouble with Quabbin last week, in which they were only able to get a single shot on target. But obviously that Panther team, quite powerful and yet to concede a goal this year. Meanwhile, for Fitchburg, getting 9 shots on 5 on target, but still a lot of struggles in the circle. I mean, they're able to get it there. They've been able to sustain pressure. They're deep in the Gardner quad of the field. But the problem there is once they get in the circle, it's just getting good shots and good opportunities off, and right now they've struggled to do so. But now they'll have halftime to think things over, as we're going to take a break with them here. Halftime from Game On Fitchburg. It's Fitchburg 0, Gardner 0. Fitchburg State Red Raider Field Hockey live on FATV. Up in the hills of West Fitchburg, as the Fitchburg High Red Raiders take on the Gardner Wildcats, scoreless as we begin this second half of play. Daniel Bolak here with you. Nate Glennie on camera. That's it. That's the crew today, keeping socially distant. Nate is several feet away from me, keeping with the guidelines to broadcast these games safely and to you at home, especially for the folks who are unable to make it out here to West Fitchburg today. It's Fitchburg trying to push on here early. They're in the home white uniforms with the red shorts, white socks, going left to right here in this second half of play. Gardner in the road black uniforms, black shorts, black socks. White numbers going right to left now. Fitchburg absolutely had the run of play in the first half, outshooting the Wildcats 9-1. Shots on goal we had as 5-0. These numbers all very unofficial. I mean, at the end, if you see a recap on the TNG, trust it more than you trust me, a guy who has not called field hockey in 4 years. Fitchburg on the near side, pushing it along, and stumbling and falling to ground there was Ruby Reed. The whistle goes against Gardner. So a free hit awarded to the Red Raiders. Broadcasting really from the top of a fairly steep hill. And up top here, they've got it graded out nice and flat. Several vehicles across here. A lot of fans watching from the comfort of their vehicles like a drive-in film. It sends it across for Bambos, takes the shot, saved by Goyette. Second chance, scrambling in the circle. And now that's flicked on towards goal. That's a goal! Less than 2 minutes into the second half, the Red Raiders get on the board. Well struck home by the Red Raiders after Goyette got the initial stop, but still loose and dangerous inside the circle. And that time, they were able to push that one on, push that one in. And so the Red Raiders get the first strike, their second goal of the season. And they lead 1-0. Goal comes in the 32nd minute of this 60-minute game. A nice example of stick handling skills there. There's Ruby Reed trying to show off what she could do, the freshman, with quite the active stick. But just a little too much. Gardner trying to get an opportunity here. The whistle blows. Roseli Gonzalez draws the whistle. And the free hit comes for Hannah Goss, bringing it up to the 25.
Players, back up the ball.
Officials want the spacing there.
Travel all the way back from the original hit.
And the whistle goes against Gardner on that one. Gardner couldn't make the restart work for them. They bring it back to the 25. And Mackenzie Kupfer will restart play. Brought along to midfield. Stumbling and falling to ground. Was Reed again. Flicked on the Gardner end. A little too much on the challenge. As Goss battling with Andrea Harding. Kupfer on the right side. Wants to settle, but the whistle blows against her. Free hit coming for Gardner. Four 15-minute quarters in MIAA field hockey this season. And we are in the 5th minute of the 3rd quarter. Fitchburg with a 1-0 lead. Free hit coming for the Red Raiders. Goes off the stick of Gonzalez and goes on for the Red Raiders. Leah Alker trying to bring it across. That one rides up off the stick of Gallo and now pushed to midfield, and Gardner trying to make a run from Roseli Gonzalez. Mackenzie Kupfer able to push it to midfield. Andrea Harding with the push on. Now for Gallo. Gallo trying to feed. And the run just a bit too long for Leah Alker. Just a bit too much oomph on the pass. Would have been a prime scoring opportunity otherwise. And Gardner content to just spit it out as far as they could. Definitely out of their end. Raised ball against Fitchburg. And back to the Wildcats it'll go. They'll happily take the terrain gained. One of the interesting things when you look down this Gardner roster, they have a couple 8th graders on the roster, and Abby Gerard and Ava Ashmore. Gardner has 8th graders. They have access to 8th graders for a very simple reason. Their school serves 8th grade, as well as the traditional high school grades of 9 through 12. And a school that serves, a school may have on their varsity program those from the grades that they serve. And so Gardner entitled to use 8th graders on all of their teams. Don't have to ask for waivers. They don't have to ask for permission. They can just go and do it. And it helps a little bit with the numbers. As we mentioned here, Gardner with the 2 8th graders on their side. Fitchburg themselves with 5 freshmen. 9th graders, low as you can get. It's Gallo, tries to settle. Up to the right side of feed. As that one spit out and out of bounds. Just noticing now Riley Karen is in goal for the Wildcats right now. Don't know, it must have made the change at halftime. I think I've only just seen it. Number 88, the freshman. Interesting move there. Goyette played pretty well in the first half of play. As far as we know, she played all the games last year for this Wildcat squad. So interesting to see another keeper in the cage. But yeah, 88 for the Wildcats now, Riley Karen, as opposed to 93, Devin Goyette. One of those things you do have to pay attention to sometimes, or you'll get caught out by it. Gianna Valeri on for Hannah Goss. Illegally settled down there, might have touched the wrong side of the stick. And the free hit for Gardner. It's out of reach, but Abby Gerard's got some time to run that down. She'll do just that, keep it in play. Marin Cuffer has trouble controlling. Gardner still trying to set up here. But the ball goes into no man's land in the center of the circle. And Fitchburg happy to clear it away. This is against Gardner. Conflict right down the middle where nobody was waiting, but only at the end of the tunnel were the Red Raiders. And they're ready to continue pushing on here. Anna Goss getting in the way of that. She wants to show she can stick handle as well.
Let it go! Let it go!
Does so legally as well, for good measure. Marin Cuffer now on the near side. Not a lot on the pass across, but finds its recipient in Alyssa St. Cyr. Out to the far side. Now Marin. Flash Sticks will play on. Pushed into the circle. There's a good chance. And a goal! Right as the clock strikes the 40th minute. Looks like Marin got the finish on that one. Now a 2-0 lead for the Red Raiders. That time the passing crisp and solid. And Gardner didn't quite have the legs to catch that and keep it going. Fitchburg able to make the Wildcats pay, and now a 2-0 lead. The team clad in white and red. The goals coming in the 32nd and 40th minute of this contest. We're scoreless at halftime, but now Fitchburg continuing to press the advantage and then some. And Gardner trying to push on now. And that one goes just wide of the goal. Bray was ready to kick that away, but seeing that none of her teammates had touched it and seeing that it'd be more advantageous to just let it go, she did just that. Well read. Under 3.5 minutes to go unofficially in this third quarter. 2-0 Fitchburg. Raiders trying to push up. Mackenzie Cuffer with the pass on the far side. Two Wildcats trying to get in the way of that. Gardner eventually stepping up with Goss. One can always tell where Hannah Goss is on the field. She's got the exposed arms going, and pretty much nobody else does. And that's the horn for three-quarter time. My goodness, my stopwatch has just gotten worse and worse. I had 2.5 minutes left, but okay. We are at three-quarter time now, and the score is Fitchburg 2 and Gardner 0. As we mentioned before, all the time is being kept on the field. The scoreboards have yet to come into existence here at Game On Fitchburg. They'll be coming in the next year or so. As part of the soft opening, didn't have a chance to get those just quite yet, but they will come in time. But for the time being, it does mean time all kept on the field. And our time estimates, we just take the best guess we've got. From my looks of it, looked like 3 shots on goal for the Red Raiders in that third quarter, 2 finding the back of the net, and 1 stopped by the keeper and Riley Caron. Meanwhile, Gardner not really able to get much of a shot. They did have a shot earlier, actually, in this one. A shot in the third quarter that Bray let go. As she knew Gardner would be called last to touch and they'd get the free hit. But we saw it a bit in the Quabbin game last week in girls soccer. Fitchburg being outgunned a bit by Quabbin, but they were able to keep the scoreline close. But one of the concerns being that as the game went on, that they would get fatigued and eventually the floodgates might begin to open. And you wonder if we're starting to see the same thing here out of Gardner. As they've been trying to keep the Red Raiders at bay in this contest. But as time has gone on, they've been having a little more trouble in regards to getting the ball downfield, keeping it out of their own end. And of course, Fitchburg with 2 very strong scoring chances that resulted in goals. The only quarter we've had thus far in which we've had goals, as now we begin the 4th and final quarter of play. 15 more minutes scheduled here from Fitchburg.
On the red line, come on the red, come over in the field.
Infraction against Gardner to open up this 4th quarter of play. Unofficial shots now 12-2. Shots on goal at 8-0. Players go tumbling to ground. Olivia Tran, the one who fell there for Fitchburg. The foul is against the Red Raiders. So Gardner will just try to push it upfield as best they can. Gardner plays the advantage there, so as Fitchburg touches up, Gardner will get to reset with a free hit. We mentioned there were a lot of different rule changes in soccer when we did our game with Quabbin, but less so in field hockey. Only 4 main rule changes. The biggest ones that we've seen, the 7-on-7 play as opposed to 11-on-11 play, but also the fact that instead of penalty corners, we have the 25-yard hits, which honestly I think benefits the defense, because I think it's a lot easier to defend against a 25-yard hit than it is against a penalty corner. This one turned towards the goal, and Bray now being challenged, has to knock that one away. But now Gardner still trying to settle for a chance. The shot on and a save by Bray, a second chance, but a whiff on it. Those are the first shots of the game for Gardner. All coming up right there. And now we stop play as there's an injury on the field. Saw one of the Wildcats go down in the circle during all that. Now she'll be helped off the field. Everything happening as quickly as it does. It was Abby Gerard, one of the 2 8th graders on this Wildcat roster. Helped off there, walked off on her own power. Hope the best for her. coaches talking with the referee, Jen Scott and Lynn Sarath. It will be Gardner's ball on the restart. And we will resume play from here. Can you imagine the Wildcats really want to put some on the board here? As we mentioned, struggled to get on the scoreboard last year. From the games that we had tracked, only 5 goals. They also have familiarity with Quabbin and Oakmont in this pod, as they are in Mid-Wash C. For Fitchburg, it's all unfamiliar teams in regards to Mid-Wash play. Neshoba, Marlboro, Grand Dunstable, and Westboro are the teams that the Red Raiders normally play. We mentioned this pod: Quabbin, Oakmont, Narragansett, Gardner, Murdoch, and Fitchburg. These are the 6 schools we'll be seeing all fall long. There'll be no deviations. It's interesting how all the Fitchburg teams ended up in different pods. St. Bernard's and Leominster are in separate pods as well. And I imagine Monty Tech may have ended up in their own pod as well with the trade schools if they had chosen to play this fall. But fears of participation numbers is dropping as they'll stop play here. Looks like Bambos gets sent off for a card here. So a player advantage now for Gardner. Big opportunity as that one turned towards goal and a stop there by Bray.
In front of me at 25.
Another 25-yard hit. Goss ready to restart. Bambos has to wait on the sideline until she can rejoin play. The clashing of sticks on the far side will lead to Fitchburg getting the ball. And right now, just send it downfield as far as they can. Try to keep Gardner away from their end as long as they can, as long as Gardner's got this player advantage. Did not get a chance to see the color of the card that came out. Determine if it was 2 or 5. Regardless, we'll get our answer in a couple minutes. As Gardner has the player advantage, but trail 2-0. I can tell you it was a green card because the player advantage is over. And Bambos right back to play. Sprung from the sin bin out like a cannon and immediately drew a whistle. But now Gardner trying to settle, trying to make something happen. Reed knocking that one away. Gardner unable to square it for a shot. That's a whistle against Fitchburg. Hear minor confusion about the call, but Gardner will happily take it. Nudged onto the near side. Can that be settled cleanly? Jackie Pratt was looking for it. Wasn't able to get much on it. And Fitchburg pushing it upfield. One to beat in the meanwhile as that pass goes to the far side for St. Cyr. Played away by Skylar Grenier. 23 on 23 there. Gardner continuing to push now past midfield. Gianna Valeri. highest numbered field player for the Wildcats, wearing 24. Draws the infraction. Gardner will want to push while they have the opportunity. It's out of the reach of Ashmore, swings it across into the circle. Can't be settled for a shot. Now that one turned towards, but blocked out in front. Another opportunity, bouncing ball. Bounces a bunch of times, doesn't touch anyone on the way. Bray wants nothing to do with that. And out it'll go for a free hit for Fitchburg. My stopwatch now says 7.5 minutes, but considering the couple of stoppages we've had in this quarter and the fact that my stopwatch was off by 30 seconds in the second quarter and over 2 minutes in this third, I'm not sure how accurate it really is. Bray will kick that one away as it's held on the right side of the circle, advantage for Gardner. They'll get a free hit from 25. Yeah, the other rule change is you've got to give 5 yards from the player taking a free hit. That one kicked in the circle, kicked away. Another 25 hit for Gardner. Goss will set up from the middle, play it along the blue line. Now into the circle, tries to flick towards goal, blocked in front. And another 25-yard hit for Gardner. Now with the space given, Goss again. Ashmore on the left side. Larry now back for Ashmore. Just as she was ready to swing and fire, Gardner commits an infraction off the ball. And there goes that. They've estimated less than 6 minutes to go in this game. 2-0 lead for Fitchburg. Goals coming in the 32nd and 40th minute. I'll say this, if I hear the Fitchburg bench shout out numbers on time, I'm just going to believe them unequivocally. Goss, the long stretch pass. And setting that up was Pratt, draws the whistle. Another 25-yard hit. They say they've got 3 minutes left. So again, I'll believe them. My stopwatch is 10 gone right now, but I stopped it a couple of times for the injury earlier in the card, so. The bench knows how to peek over at the scorer's table there, set up at midfield. And I think it's always Fitchburg yelling it out, because you can see Gardner on their bench staying away from the scorer's table. There's a big gap between that. Fitchburg pushing it upfield again. Another opportunity. Grenier stepping up, pushing it away from danger for a brief moment. Gendron on the far side. Battled there with Roselli Gonzalez. Each of these teams playing a double round robin in the pod for 10 games, and then based on the results, they'll play 2 more games to fill out their 12-game schedules. Fitchburg looking for a third. Couple good flicks on. That last one going just wide. All the ingredients were there for a third goal. Just needed that last flick on. Calling out a minute to go now in this contest. Fitchburg with the 2-0 lead. Both teams will be happy to get another on the board. or for Gardner to get a goal on the board. Ross lost her stick. So it went down over the ball. So that'll lead to the infraction there. That one put towards goal, kicked away by Karen. And a free hit coming. Not much time left to go in this game. Gardner will get the whistle. Might only have time for one more rush. But now you can hear the scorer yelling it down. He tries to blow the horn, but it's out of horns. Out of charges to blow. And that's the end of the game, as Fitchburg takes their first win of the season, a 2-0 victory over the Wildcats of Gardner. Goals in the 32nd and 40th minute of the game, all they needed to come away with the victory and get that all-important first win. And Fitchburg very much the better team in this contest. The final shot's unofficial, 14-5 in favor of the Red Raiders. Shots on goal, again unofficial, 9-3 for Fitchburg as well. Again, goals in the 32nd and 40th minute. I did not have my eyes sharply on the ones who took the shots, so I don't have those goal scores for you, but I imagine those will come down through the pipeline in time. So a good win for Fitchburg. Definitely felt coming in that they may be the better team in this one. Although Gardner coming off a win, they wanted to keep the momentum going, but obviously Fitchburg a little bit of a stronger beast than Murdoch is. And so both teams are now moved to 1-2 on the season. Gardner again 1-2, Fitchburg 1-2. Fitchburg's next game will be on the 14th as they'll travel down to Templeton to take on the Warriors of Narragansett. There'll be a 4 o'clock start. All Fitchburg games this fall are 4 o'clock starts. Gardner's next game, they'll get to take on Oakmont on Wednesday as well. That's a 3:30 start from Watkins Field in Gardner. And our next broadcast is scheduled for tomorrow, as we're going to have the same 2 schools. We're just going to have a different sport. It's going to be boys soccer. It'll be the Fitchburg Red Raiders and the Gardner Wildcats. That will be an interesting one. From Crocker Field, 4 o'clock start time on that one. We hope you'll join us for that as well. So again, thanks to Nate Glennie manning the camera and doing everything possible so that we could bring this game live to you. Also a reminder for Fitchburg, next home game here at Game On will be on the 26th, a fortnight's time from here, as they'll be taking on the Panthers of Quabbin. So again, thanks to Nate Glennie for the camera work and for doing everything. Thanks to the Fitchburg Athletic Department for helping us set up here. Well, I've been Daniel Bolak. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time. And until then, so long from Fitchburg.